I now call this regular meeting of the Davenport Community School District Board of Directors to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Director Klein Jerome, would you please read the mission and vision statements?
Mission statement: the Davenport Community School District is dedicated to growing excellence in academics, the arts, and athletics for every child by ensuring the highest quality education in an environment shaped by our diverse community, preparing our students to be lifelong learners and productive citizens. Vision statement: education that challenges conventional thinking, prepares all students to compete in a global society, and inspires our students, parents, staff, and community to answer the question, what if?
Thank you, Director Klein Jerome. Director Potts, would you please read the guiding principles?
Guiding principles. Opportunity. We provide abundant opportunities to empower students to reach their full potential academically, creatively, and socially. Collaboration. We foster an environment that allows students, families, and community stakeholders to come together for the betterment of our students' education and future. Transparency. We share relevant and important information with our students, families, and the community to maintain open and productive communication.
Thank you, Director Potts. Superintendent Schneckloff, would you please go over the goals?
Goal number 1, enhance student learning, and goal number 4, foster the innovative use of finances, facilities, and staff.
Thank you. We will move on to recognitions. We have a recognition from Project Lead the Way. I will turn it over to the superintendent.
Allie Vandermeid and Melissa Trimble are going to share with us this beautiful display of the posters that are along the wall and give us a deeper understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schneckloth. My name is Melissa Trimble, and I am one of the curriculum specialists here for the schools. One of the areas of oversight that I have is science. So I am pleased to first kind of explain what it means to be a Project Lead the Way Distinguished Launch Building. In order to be in that designation, a school must offer and teach at least one Project Lead the Way module in each grade level. So in kindergarten, just to give you some numbers, we have 4 modules that we use. First grade also has 4 modules. Second and third grade have 5 modules each. Fourth grade has 4 for this year, but we're going to grow that back up to 5 in the coming years. And our grade 5 has 8 modules that they do within the Project Lead the Way work. Project Lead the Way launches our guaranteed and viable curriculum for science and computer science, so 100% of our students participate within Project Lead the Way. In order to teach Project Lead the Way modules, each teacher must be trained, so I conduct these trainings in the summer, each summer, and also throughout the beginning of Q1 as needed for some of our new hires. To date, I have trained over 400 of our teachers. All of our elementary buildings have received this Project Lead the Way Distinguished Launch School Award for the 22-23 school year. And our Project Lead the Way Science and Computer Science curriculum would never have been possible without the initial and ongoing support from Project Lead the Way grants, which are then fulfilled from both our Arconic and John Deere.
We also received, they're not up on the wall, but we also received Project Lead the Way Distinguished Gateway Schools in 4 of our intermediates. Project Lead the Way Gateway is mapped to all of our CTE pathways at the high school, and they include courses such as app creators, green architecture, medical detectives, and other things very similar to that. In order to be a Project Lead the Way Distinguished Gateway program, you must offer and teach at least one of those PLTW Gateway courses, and a quarter of your students have to come back for a second one. So our 4 schools were Sudlow, led by Melanie Adams, Walcott Intermediate, led by Stacy Alexander, Williams, led by Dawn Kuhn, and Wood, led by Ariana Snook. Our high schools, we had 1 high school receive Project Lead the Way Distinguished School Distinction. That would be West, Davenport West. You must offer and teach 3 Project Lead the Way courses, and a third of your students have to come back for a second class. We are lucky to have 3 master teachers at Davenport West High School. Our biomedical science master teacher is Brandon Yoder. Our computer science master teacher is Doyle Massey. And our engineering master teacher is Greg Smith. We are looking forward to continuing to grow these highly engaging and relevant pathways to build our students' competitive advantage with Project Lead the Way.
There are no questions.
They're running for the door. Did anybody have any questions before they get out of here? Director Beck.
I was just going to ask about the banners. Are those going into each of our schools? Sorry, I didn't mean to ask a hard question.
So the 4 intermediates that I listed off and the high school already have their banners up in their school. These will go back out to the elementaries.
They actually landed there and we recalled them all so that we could hang them up and do this, and now we will put them all back. Yes.
Yep. Stay for more questions.
Director Poston.
Would you list the 3 teachers from West again?
Yeah, Doyle Massey, Brandon Yoder, and Greg Smith.
Well, thank you very much for that presentation. You can hurry up and make it home before, you got plenty of time before kickoff, so you'll be good. Thank you. I should have noted this at the beginning of the meeting, and I forgot. We do have an item listed for presentations tonight that will be getting moved to, what date did we come up with? A future date. So there are no presentations tonight. Student board reports, we'll start with Ruben.
Well, hi. My name is Ruben Leverage. I'm a senior at Central High School. In upcoming events, our school has sent a lot of students to both the Opus Honor Choir and the All-State Music Festival, which will be happening this weekend from Thursday to Saturday. It is in Ames, Iowa, so it's a bit of a drive, but having witnessed these people prepare and seen some previous concerts, it's definitely worth the trip to see some of our excellent musicians that we have at Central. As well as this Saturday, the Marching Blue Devils will be marching in the Festival of Trees Parade down in downtown Davenport. In terms of athletics, winter athletics have just begun. Practice started last week and this week. We don't have any competitions coming up quite yet, but for our fall sports, both our boys and girls cross-country team had runners make it to state qualifiers, and our boys cross-country coach, Mr. Pearson, was named Mississippi Athletic Conference Coach of the Year, so we'd like to extend our congratulations on to him, as well as our girls swimming team placed 3rd in the state at last weekend's state swimming meet. It was the highest finish ever for a Blue Devil girls swim team. And our girls swim coach, Brian Heller, was recognized as the regional coach of the year, as well as the state coach of the year. Our speech and debate team recently went to our first competition in Bettendorf. Both of our public forum teams walked away with winning 3-2 records, and we had 3 people give speeches in extemporaneous speaking and in original oratory, and our team walked away with first place in the original oratory, and we believe this only highlights the need and the merit to having speech as a required class in the district. As well as all this, as a senior, I can promise you that our counselors are inundating us with many scholarship opportunities and keeping us up to date as we graduate and go further into our educational journeys, as well as keeping new freshmen as we move into the second term, making sure freshmen are able to complete their credits from anything they might have missed in their first term. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ethan Cepeda from North High School, and I will be giving a student board report for North. So last week at North, we had our annual National Honor Society induction, in which 34 of our students were inducted into the North's charter for that. So I'd like to congratulate those people. We also concluded the student hunger drive last week, in which our final results own 10,000 pounds of food, which will be able to provide an astounding 19,920 meals to kids and families in our community. As for this upcoming week, on November 13th, today, I should say, sorry. Today we will be having our 8th grade showcase and activity showcase in that matter at North. And it did start at 5:30. And it's a great opportunity for incoming freshmen to, sort of take tours around the school and get to know some of the staff. And yeah, just a really exciting time for these incoming freshmen. And today we also are starting our after prom fundraiser in collaboration with Central High School. We are currently going to hold a fundraiser today at both locations of Bad Boys Pizza from their opening hours to the closing hours for the after prom, in which 20% of all sales and gift card purchases from either Davenport or Moline locations goes towards the conjoined after prom of North and Central. Davenport, and then another thing for after prom is that we are selling driveway stencils to help contribute to the fundraiser. The prices for these is a blue and gold Davenport North logo for $20, a blue and gold paw print with the NHS letters for also $20, and then both the logo and paw print for $35. This Thursday through the weekend will also be the Iowa All-State Orchestra and Iowa High School Music Association's festival in Ames, Iowa, in which the students that we referenced last time will be going. So I wish those students luck. Also, on November 18th, we will be having a dance competition at Norwalk High School. Then, as for next week, on November 21st, we will be performing, our choir chambers will be performing at the Festival of Trees in the River Center, and that will be at 10 a.m. And on December 1st at 6:30 p.m., North will be hosting a family bingo night for the instrumental and vocal boosters. The cost is $10 per person for 10 games, and a 4-person table is $50 with unlimited popcorn, 4 candy bars, highlighters, and bingo cards for each player. And then looking at Wood Intermediate, which is our primary intermediate feeder school, last week was the first ever edition of their new student-led newspaper, which is called the Viking Newspaper. And this is going to be a cool opportunity for students to really embrace their creative side, as they're allowed to submit writings, whether it be a short story or a poem or even a joke, and see if they can get into the newspaper. So great opportunity for the creative endeavors of the students from that school. And then this upcoming week, the Wood Student Council will be hosting a fundraiser at Nothing But Cakes, which ends on December 6th, in which people can purchase $6 mini cakes in order to support the cause. Then looking at Harrison Elementary School, which is our primary elementary feeder school. This upcoming week, they'll be hosting an event at the Eldridge Skate Park from 5:30 to 7:30, just like a fun meet and greet, skating around. But yeah, that's pretty much all the information that I have from North in our feeder schools, and thus concludes my student report.
Hi, I am McKenna Burt, and I am from Davenport West. We'd like to congratulate our competition cheer team, who just got second place at their state competition in the co-ed cheer division. We would also like to congratulate some West football players that got awards. We have Jordan Tate got co-offensive player of the year. Zane Fellman got co-defensive player of the year. And we also had 3 players make first team, 1 make second team, and 3 honorable mentions. So we'd like to congratulate all of them. West also just finished up with their hunger drive, and we raised almost 28,000 pounds of food donations for the food hunger drive. and was the highest school in the district, as well as most improved from last school year.
Hello, my name is Viva and I am also from West. Our theater program participated in the Iowa Thespian Festival this weekend and learned a lot for their upcoming fall play, James and the Giant Peach. Our Falcons are excited to perform for families and friends and would love to see many more faces perform in our auditorium on December 1st through 3rd. Furthermore, our West music programs continue to prepare for our Davenport Community Schools annual Messiah concert at the Adler Theater on November 21st, along with a select few singing at the All-State Music Festival and our band marching in the Festival of Trees.
Thank you, student board members. We always appreciate your detailed reports. Thank you very much for that. We will move on to board reports. Are there any board reports? Director Klein-Jerome.
First of all, I would like to offer my condolences to the family of Carolyn Mayhew. She taught in the district for many, many years and just recently passed away. I attended the Veterans Day Parade, and it was nice to see all three Davenport High School marching band participating in the parade. I also went to the Veterans Memorial Park dedication, and again, the representation of students, the welding students, our teachers that were involved. It was, if you haven't been down there, you should go down and check it out. It's very cool. And I also attended the North High play, Almost Maine, which they did a very nice job.
All right. I did also attend Almost Maine. I went twice, but when your kid's in it, you're kind of expected that. And then I also attended the Veterans Memorial Park dedication. We have some phenomenal students. It was nice to see the progression over 2 classes to get this thing done and to hear how the Veterans Committee talked about our students and their dedication to it, as well as Mr. Zen and the awesome artwork and things like that. It was a phenomenal event. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, the board will be hosting a poverty simulation on Tuesday, December 12th. And we have invited all the local elected officials and staff from the cities of Bluegrass, Buffalo, Davenport, and Walcott, as well as the Scott County Board of Supervisors, our local legislators, and some DCSD staff to participate. A group of approximately 20 volunteers have been secured to help assist. Board members who are able to attend will either take part in the simulation or serve as the volunteers. One of the big things why we wanted to do this, myself, Director Klein-Jerome and Director Poshin, we went up to, I think it was in Ankeny. The Iowa Association of School Boards put this thing on, and it was very impactful in all the things that families go through every day to make sure that their kids get to school. So we wanted to bring that awareness to our local electeds, so maybe we can get some partnerships and find some pathways to help some of these folks out with some of these things, and just to bring awareness with this stuff, because I mean, tardiness is a big thing, but sometimes people don't understand what families go through to make sure their kids can make it to schools and what decisions they have to choose to be able to do that. So it was very impactful for us, and we wanted to bring that back here. So very grateful for Shaney Ford, and who else went and got trained to be able to facilitate this? Jen Van Fleet. So thank you to them very much for doing this and making this come to fruition for me. If there are no other board reports, we'll move on to communications. All right. Get a drink for this long-winded speech. Open forum is a time for members of the community to give input at a board meeting regarding school district issues or concerns. Individuals who want to speak, please fill out an open forum request and give it to the board secretary prior to open forum. The form is available in hard copy for in-person attendees or on the school board page of the district's website for those who want to participate virtually. Virtual participants must email their request to Brenda T. at tbrin@davenportschools.org by 3 p.m. on the day of the board meeting. The board will not act on any issue presented during open forum if it was not published as an agenda item. Iowa Open Meetings Law prohibits action on any issue that is not on the agenda. The president may set the amount of time allowed for individuals to speak, which we usually keep to 2 minutes. The board asks that no charges or complaints be made against individual employees of the district or community. Remarks that reflect negatively on the character or motives of any person will be called out of order. You will be asked to state your name and home address prior to making remarks. To participate virtually, call 1-312-626-6799 and enter meeting ID. Did I hit my 2 minute mark already? Meeting ID 934-5726-0263 and passcode 116057. Brenda, did we have any virtual open forum requests? All right, thank you. We have 2 open forum requests. First, we have Doug Darland, and then we have Amanda Rise Vanderleest. Mr. Darland, if you step up, make sure when you push the button, the light turns green.
My name is Amanda Rise Vanderleest. My daughter is on the DC varsity volleyball team. I'm here to voice concern over the head coaching staff of the team. In the volleyball handbook, their goal was to teach important life skills these young ladies will use beyond volleyball, including work ethic, unconditional commitment, how to compete with respect, integrity, and confidence. Yet these girls weren't treated with respect or any of the above. No positive learning environment when they had questions on skills, positioning, teammates, or concerns of their coaches. These women would negatively talk back to the players when concerns were brought up. They spoke negatively about players in front of their teammates. They belittled and intimidated the girls when they were verifying information. A teammate's hair was pulled during a match by the head coach, and it was laughed off. Coaches told them that they had been overcoached and the athletes needed to figure out on their own why they weren't performing well. The varsity team was in fact not overcoached. They were not coached to improve their skills as a team or individuals, constantly told what they were doing wrong. Several athletes approached them, never any resolve, just repercussions. The team suffered an entire season of being bullied by their coaches. It is the policy of the district to maintain an educational environment free from discrimination, bullying, and harassment. The district is committed to providing its students with a safe and civil school environment in which all members of the school community are treated with dignity and respect. On the National School Boards Association website, definitions of adult bullying vary, but our summary can describe it as repeated and persistent non-physical mistreatment of a person. The mistreatment includes verbal abuse, threatening conduct, intimidation, attempts to frustrate or wear down, humiliate, pressure, and provoke that threatens the psychological integrity, career, safety, and health of the target of bullying. Every situation reported by the athletes and parents falls under this definition. At what point will there be accountability?
Ms. Vanderleest, can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, it's Amanda Rise Vanderleest. Address is 2831 Forest Road, Davenport, Iowa, 52803.
Hi, my name is Doug Darland. I live at 2110 West 38th Place in Davenport, Iowa, 52806. I'm in a kind of unique position as both the parent of a senior on the volleyball team and a coach on the volleyball coaching staff for the last 6 seasons. I have resigned my coaching position at this time because I've decided that I cannot work with a head coach that treats the players the way that the head coach does. My daughter is a senior and is now done with this coach, but I do not want to take the attitude of it's not my problem anymore, because her continued status as the head coach is going to continue to have negative effects on future student athletes. The higher the expectations are for a player, the harsher the treatment is of them. There are a few girls from the team that were not mistreated much because the expectations for those players were lower. My daughter, being a senior and the team's setter, was held to very high expectations. She was constantly being told in one way or another that she was not good enough, which turned into being accused of intentionally being disrespectful and ignoring the instructions of the coaches. Then she was referred to multiple times by one of the coaches as a team cancer in front of the rest of the team. Taking this directly off the district's website, harassment and bullying mean any electronic, such as emails or text messages, written or verbal communication or physical act or conduct toward a student that is based on an actual or perceived trait or characteristic noted above. One of those noted above being physical ability. That creates an objectively hostile school environment. An objectively hostile school environment may be created if the communication, act, or conduct, and one of the bullet points following that says, has a substantially detrimental effect on the student's physical or mental health. The written and verbal communication these players received from the coach on a regular basis created an objectively hostile environment, I call it toxic, in the opinions of many. The players couldn't perform to the level of the coach's expectations, so they were mentally bullied as a result. 7 girls left the volleyball program during and after last season, and another 6 to 8 players and a coach are walking away this season. How many people need to leave the program, and how many people does this group of parents and players need to complain to before someone takes it seriously?
Thank you both for participating in an open forum. The board always appreciates the input from the community. We will move on to consent agenda. May I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Mr. President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board accept the consent agenda as written.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. The motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, motion carries. Superintendent report.
So over the last couple of weeks, I've been visiting some classrooms and wanted to share some examples of excellence that I saw. In the upper left-hand corner, this was Mrs. Dugan's classroom. Walked in, and I want you to picture Miss Dugan at Madison, I think it's 5th grade. I want you to picture the end of a lesson. Students are getting ready to start their independent work. And the picture on here is a little blurry, so I'll read to you what it says. This is CHAMPS, and this is the acronym that this teacher utilized for this time of the day. So the C in CHAMP is conversation. What kind of conversation are we supposed to have in this? And it says 0. You're supposed to be silent. Help. H stands for help. And so in this time of activity, the expectations were to raise your hand and keep working while your hand is raised. The activities, the part of the assignment, this was a math portion. The part of the assignment, they're supposed to do the check your understanding, complete your fraction strips, and then move to waggle when you're done. The M is for movement. Can I move during this time period? And it's restroom and sharpen pencils, both of those when you ask for permission. The P is participation. And in this time, participation is be on task on the items that are listed above. And how will I know I'm successful? You'll have completed these assignments. And that's what the CHAMP stood for. And it was wonderful because I was standing there talking to Ms. Dugan. A kid immediately walks right up to her and says, "What am I supposed to be working on?" And she pointed right to the board, and the kid goes, "Oh yeah, that's right." And immediately went back to work, and there was 0 conversation and allowed for an excellent transition. In the upper right-hand corner, we have Mr. Varner and Mr. Evans. I will tell you, 3 days later, there were no trusses on the entire house. A crane showed up, and they set the trusses with our students, and I believe right now they're actively sheeting the roof. They are moving really quickly. This is our student-built home. It's roughly located in between the Walmart and the Gardens restaurant over there by south of Kimberly. The kids are engaged. I go out once a week. The students are incredibly engaged. They're They're working right alongside with the instructors. There's very little downtime. They're doing a wonderful job. The lower left-hand corner, we have two of our TLCS people, one of our TLCS people and an AEA person who are modeling for a brand new teacher. I think when you look at some of the things that we have in our district for retention to help speed along the knowledge to gain for our teachers, it's modeling. What does it look like and see like it? And so this is a good example of that. The person on the left is Miss Steverson. She is a behavior specialist at the AEA, and the person on the right is Mrs. Thill. And they're just both wonderful educators there to help with help move our new instructor along in that room. And on the lower right-hand side, we have Mrs. Shootman. She is also a 5th grade teacher at Madison, and every time I walk into her classroom, the level of engagement is through the roof. What I wanted to share here is that this is an Amplify lesson. And when I walked into this lesson, the students were getting ready to write poetry. And when I stuck around, the poetry that they wrote was really engaging, right on spot with the learning target. So I just wanted to share some wonderful examples of learning that's going on in our district. And we have outstanding educators and people in our district really moving that forward. The last thing that I want to mention is I'm very proud to introduce to our district Miss Sarah Ott. So on the consent agenda, the Director of Communications and Community Relations comes to us from the city of Davenport. She is a dynamic leader who is going to move our communications and community relations forward in a very positive direction. She has some of the initiatives that she has done with the city, the communication, the rebranding that she has done inside of the city has been excellent. So we're very excited for her to join our team. That concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you for that very informative report. We'll move on to committee reports. Finance Committee. No report? Okay. Elziak?
We meet tomorrow night.
Okay. Long Range Facilities Planning? None at this time, right?
We have not met since the last meeting.
Thank you. Policy Committee.
We have a lot of policies that are being finished up. Some are being revised already, so that will be coming up later in the agenda.
Thank you. Legislative Advocacy, the superintendent and I met with a couple of our local mayors as part of our bi-monthly meetings to meet with them to see what they got going and let them know what we got going. All right, we will move on to items requiring action. May I have a motion on subject 11.01, change to the long-range facilities plan to include new facilities instead of expansion and renovation at SMART?
Mr. President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the adjustments to the long-range facilities plan to include new facilities instead of expansion and renovation at FL Smart Intermediate School.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote. Director Beck. Or I'm sorry, Director Hayes.
Yes.
Director Beck.
Yes.
Director Potts.
Yes.
Director Barnes.
Yes.
Director Postian.
Yes.
Director Klein-Jerome.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. May I have a motion on subject 11.02?
Mr. President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve Ray Architects as designers for the William Intermediate partial replacement and roof restoration for $63,400.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Motion carries. May I have a motion on subject 11.03 mid-city shed roof replacement?
Mr. President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the Mid-City Shed roof replacement to the lowest responsive bidder, Sterling Commercial Roofing, in the amount of $77,800.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Motion carries. May I have a motion on subject 11.04?
Mr. President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the purchase of curriculum resources from Project Lead the Way totaling $71,294 using grant funds.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Huh?
Discussion?
Yeah. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Motion carries. May I have a motion on subject 11.05?
Mr. President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the purchase of a collaborative robotic welder using $40,000 from a high-demand Governor's STEM Council grant and up to $60,000 of PEPAL funds.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Motion carries. May I have a motion on subject 11.06?
Mr. President,
Director Klein Jerome.
I move that the board cast our weighted vote for Paul Brooks as Director of District Number 8 and Sharon Simmons as Director of District Number 2 for the Mississippi Bend Area Education Agency Board of Directors.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Director Beck.
Just for people who may not know, can you explain a little bit about why we would be voting, like who these people are and what we're voting on exactly, what the AEA Board of Directors does? Or maybe the superintendent can tell us.
All right. So basically, the AEA is split up into 9 districts, and Davenport schools, I want to say 5 districts touch our area. I should know this. In each school district, if you have jurisdiction within that district, it'll go before each district to vote on those people. Does that answer your question?
That's why we vote for so many different districts then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 5 districts.
Okay. And these people here are any of these people already?
Paul Brooks is an income. He's
Okay.
been on the board for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Brenda, I'm going to abstain on this one because I sit on the AEA board. All right. Seeing no other discussion, I will call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Motion carries. May I have a motion on subject 11.07?
Mr. President,
Director Poston.
move the board adopt a resolution fixing the date for a public hearing on the proposed use of saved revenue for an athletic facility infrastructure project. A public hearing will be held in the Jim Hester Boardroom, 2nd floor, Achievement Service Center, 1702 North Main Street, Davenport, Iowa, on December 11th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. on the proposal to use saved revenue for the following athletic facility infrastructure project: to install, equip, and furnish turf fields for the existing high school athletic facilities. The current estimated cost of this athletic facility infrastructure project is $12,900,000. The board secretary is authorized and directed to publish notice of this public hearing in a newspaper having general circulation in the district. Such publication will be made not less than 10 nor more than 20 days ahead of the hearing date.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I think you got you. Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? This will be a roll call vote.
Can I, sorry,
Director Beck.
just to confirm for anyone who might have just kind of tuned in, this is just to fix the date for the hearing. And if people want to talk about it, that's when the public can come and give us their thoughts. Okay.
Thank you for the clarification, Director Beck. Any other discussion? Student board members, if you have anything, feel free to chime in. I don't mean to call you and put you on the spot. Seeing no other discussion, I'll call for the vote. Director Postian,
Yes.
Director Potts,
Yes.
Director Barnes,
Yes.
Director Klein Jerome,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Beck.
Yes.
My vote is yes, motion carries. May I have a motion on subject at 11.08?
Mr. President,
Director Postian.
move the board adopt a resolution fixing the date for a hearing on the proposed issuance of approximately $160 million school infrastructure sales, services, and use tax revenue bonds. A public hearing will be held in the Jim Hester Boardroom, second floor, Achievement Service Center, 1702 North Main Street, Davenport, Iowa, on December 11th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. on the proposal to issue approximately $160 million school infrastructure sales, services, and use tax revenue bonds, which may be issued in one or more series over multiple fiscal years, pursuant to Iowa Code Sections 423F.2, 423F.4, for the purpose of providing funds to construct, build, furnish, and equip new middle school buildings and improve the sites, to repair, remodel, improve, furnish, and equip North High School building and improve the site, and to install, equip, and furnish turf fields for the existing high school athletic facilities, including costs of issuance and a debt service reserve fund if required by the purchaser. Any bond proceeds remaining after completion of this project will be used for other school infrastructure projects as authorized by the school district's revenue purpose statement. The Secretary is authorized and directed to publish notice of this public hearing in a newspaper having general circulation in the school district. Such publication will be made not less than 10 nor more than 20 days ahead of the hearing date.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. This will be a roll call vote as well. Director Postian,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Klein Jerome,
Yes.
Director Potts,
Yes.
Director Barnes.
Yes.
My vote is yes, motion carries. May I have a motion on subject 11.09?
Mr. President,
Director Postian.
move the board approve our request to the School Budget Review Committee for modified supplemental assistance for the fiscal year 2023 special education deficit in the amount of $4,958,879.50.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there a second? Thank you. Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion? Director Beck.
Just to clarify for anybody who might not realize, this is money that we have already spent, that we have to spend. We are going before the School Budget Review Committee to ask for the authority to use the money that we already have, correct?
That's correct.
Yep.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote as well. Director Postian,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Barnes,
Yes.
Director Klein Jerome,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Potts.
Yes.
My vote is yes, motion carries. May I have a motion on subject 11.10?
Mr. President,
Director Klein Jerome.
I move that the board approve the following policies: 101.04, 103.01, 303.15, 402.03, 402.09, 402.10, 405.08, 407.02, 407.03, 409.03, 410.01, 412.03, 413.01, 501.03, 503.08, 504.09, 505.05, 505.06, 602.12, 602.22, 603.06, 604.06, and 705.02.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, we'll move on to discussion items. The first subject for discussion is 12.01, Board Calendar December 2023 through November 2024. Turn it over to Superintendent.
Actually, Brenda, you want to walk us through this one?
This is a draft calendar for your consideration for next year. There are no major changes in how the calendar has been set out. It matches this year's, where you did 6 committee of the wholes approximately every other month. And then you had 1 regular meeting in December, and otherwise you had 2 regular meetings per month. I did note where we went off course for spring break. You'll see that you're having 2 regular meetings the first and last Mondays instead of the second and last Monday. If there's a holiday on a Monday, as traditional, you've moved those meetings to Tuesday. I did have a question, or you guys might want to think about, do you want to hold your organizational meeting during Thanksgiving week? Or do we want to move those dates around in November? November's really busy for you guys anyway, with IASB and 3 holidays. So, that was one, but otherwise it's very similar to this year's. And then just to clarify, this will come up during your organizational meeting on the 27th for approval.
Director Beck.
Well, I was just thinking, so that's the 3rd Monday, right? November 25th. It's the 1st and 3rd, or no, 2nd and 4th. Sorry, that's the 4th Monday. Is there? I know we typically don't have a 3rd Monday. Well, never mind. It's fine. I don't get to go anywhere anyway, but other people might. So it is kind of a heavy week, but it's a Monday.
Can I add something, Dan? The only thing about November that you guys could maybe flex on a little bit, I'm looking at the calendar, you don't have a committee of the whole that month. If you wanted to move to November 4th and November 18th, you could do a 1st and 3rd and just do your regular meetings then. But there is no election next year, so we don't have to wait for a canvass of votes.
Okay.
For the organizational meeting. So that gives you a little bit more flexibility.
Could we do like a November 4th and then the November 12th for our organizational meeting? Or would that be too long from there to December?
The next December meeting would probably be a committee of the whole on the 2nd, and your only December meeting then would be the 9th. So it would be a break between the 12th and the 9th, 12th of November and December 9th.
I would support that.
The 4th and the 11th?
Yeah, yeah. The 11th is a holiday, Veterans Day, so it would have to be the 12th. The 4th and the 12th.
Then why not go to the 18th?
I can't do third Mondays in the month. I got another standing meeting.
Why not the 18th? Why not the 18th?
I have another standing meeting every third Monday of the month.
Oh.
We take priority, don't we?
I mean, we can hold meetings without Dan.
It's the organizational meeting, though.
Yeah, we kind of need you for that one. I guess I'm okay with it as proposed, but if it's going to be tough for people, it might be easier to do something slightly different. But I'm not going to, I mean, I'll vote for this.
Yeah, you'll just need to make a decision before the next meeting. And I can bring a couple drafts if you want me to. And you guys can consider them. Or you can have the discussion here. And
I like the 12th and the 25th, the way you've got it written. I mean, it's Thanksgiving week, but we have school Monday and Tuesday at least, so it's not like we're going out of town.
Brenda, I'll do this. I'm going to go around the loop here and see, as Brenda has it done right now, Director Barnes, do you have any issues with how it is right now? Director Potts? You already stated yours. Director Hayes? You got your consensus.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. We will move on to the next discussion subject is 12.02 Hayes Elementary Furniture, Painting, and Graphics.
Continuing with our theme or what we've been doing with other schools, Hayes will be our next school. We start looking at getting new furniture for, painting and graphics, doing the normal updates like we've begun at Jefferson and Harrison. So we would like to proceed with our project of getting more furniture for them and getting the ball rolling with the updates we planned for that school. Any questions?
Director Klein-Jerome.
How are we picking schools?
We had met with a person that does kind of our asset management for buildings, and met with him and just talked about which schools we thought were kind of had the oldest or roughest conditioned furniture, as well as by region. So some of the regions might have a little bit newer furniture, some might be a little bit older, but we've gone through and tried to pick out a school per region.
Okay, thanks.
Director Barnes.
Could we see that sort of order at some point, the order of schools? And second question I have, when will this work be done?
This one would be done in I believe on spring break, we would get furniture. The painting and graphics will have to be done during summer because otherwise it'll be too disruptive to school.
Okay, great.
Any other questions? All right. We will move on to subject 12.03, use of Bray Architects for cowl wall replacement at Harrison, Walcott, and Wood.
So in this instance, there was hail damage at these locations, and because of the size of the project, we need to hire an architect for this project. It would be covered by our insurance, but these are buildings just sustained some hail damage. We want to do the repairs too. I don't know the lead time on the product yet or when that will be done, but I would assume we'll be trying to do it over the summer because that'd be pretty disruptive to school during the school year also. These would be something similar to like a skylight on a building. So if you go into a building and it's kind of shaded, not clear glass, but kind of got a little shade to it, that's kind of what we're talking about. Any questions?
Knocked it out of the park again. Subject 12.04, use of Leggett Architects for Central High School cafe roofing improvements.
So in this instance, we're doing a roof replacement at Central High School. This is outside the cafe area and around it. So if you've been in that lunchroom, you've seen water stain marks on the wall and some things around that have been there for a long time. We've had some continued issues there. So in this project, we're going to do a roof replacement. We're going to do a removal of a bunch of stuff that's sitting on the roof. It was supposed to be used, I believe, for like outdoor, maybe an outdoor eating area at one point, but nobody uses it right now. And then also a replacement of some windows in that project also. So in this instance, it's a little bit more expensive than we would like to see from an architect, but it's a little more complicated than just a flat roof replacement, and that's it. Any questions about that?
Director Beck.
So if I remember correctly, right now it's got those like pyramid skylights, right? So
Yeah.
taking those out and replacing it with something that's flatter.
Yeah, it's more straight and vertical, and
but with skylights still. Or,
yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Any other additional information? The only question I have, I know like a certain amount of money is always set aside like every year for central improvements. Does this come out of that, or is this on top of that?
This is like we have a set aside amount for roof replacements every year. So this would be coming out of one of our budgets for roof replacement. There are some dollars that we set aside that we weren't using the last few years. So we have a little bit of additional funds in that account that we normally wouldn't have had probably, but this allows us to tackle a really big project and get it knocked out of the way. I think it's been needed for a number of years, if I recall.
That's what we always hear. I think this will be like the third or fourth like roof thing at Central. Are there any other roofs at that building that we need to do? Because I would rather just do them and get them done instead of.
I'll check into that.
We did the gym. We did something else.
Yeah, we did the George Marshall gym here not that long ago. Because remember the raccoons bit the rubber on the roof.
I just rather when we got a crane there setting stuff up there, we do it all because it would save a ton of money.
Sure. I'll look into it and make sure we're not skipping roofs that are close to doing replacement.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? No construction manager considerations on this one either. Thank you.
Not at this time.
We're going to move on to subject 12.05, policies for board's first discussion. I will turn it over to Director Kleindrum.
The only thing I'd like to point out is we have seen 503.01. In fact, we were set to vote on that tonight, and then changes got made by IASB. So if it looks familiar, it is, but there have been revisions that came out of IASB. A lot of these are going to move into regulations because it's not really setting a policy, it's how you're going to do it. So we felt it was fit better into regulations. Any other questions? Any questions?
So that's specifically 50213, 50220, and 50513. That's now administrative regs.
They would all go into regs. In fact, there's a handbook that they follow for like 50213, an administrative handbook. Any other questions, comments? These will come back a couple more times before we vote on them.
Thank you. We will move on to administrative reports.
No, at this time.
Are there any board requests? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to board reflections. We'll start with Director Beck.
Well, I guess this is sort of a standard board meeting. So I love that we have all these posters here to show off that we have such distinguished schools for Project Lead the Way. I would like to, I really appreciated the reports by our student board members. They were very detailed and helpful and good information to hear. And then I'd like to extend my congratulations to our newly re-elected board members, I guess is the way to describe that. So, yeah.
Thank you, Director Beck. Director Poston.
I think the recognition as far as a project Lead the Way, but also moving forward with our revenue bonds for our projects, the two middle schools and our athletic facilities.
Thank you, Director Poston. Director Hayes.
I enjoy the detailed explanations from the student board members, and I also appreciate the efficiency of this particular meeting. Everything just kind of went, having the first and second conversations and then going through the discussion. Everything just really kind of clicked like clockwork, and I enjoy that.
Thank you, Director Hayes. Director Klein-Jerome.
I like the superintendent's report, having the photos of students and teachers out in the buildings. I thought that was great. We got through a lot of policies, so that's also a plus.
Thank you, Director Klein-Jerome. Director Potts.
I would like a positive reflection on the fact that on an evening where we have 3 meetings, we got this one done in good time.
Anything for you, Bruce. Thank you, Director Potts. Director Barnes.
2 quick things. Love the student board reports. They are awesome. You guys are awesome. And second thing, deeply interested and also impressed with the modeling effort and how that actually will relate to teacher retention. I think that's something for us to maybe dive into at some point. So appreciated that as part of the superintendent's report tonight.
Thank you, Director Barnes. Superintendent Schneckloff.
I piggyback on the efficiency of the meeting. As an agenda committee member, it's very difficult to determine how much time is going to each one of the items is going to take, and so I think that's really important and respectful. The Project Lead the Way is also incredibly cool to see in schools. So it's neat to watch an entire library turn into a STEM lab where they're landing drones and writing code. It's really neat.
Thank you, Superintendent. First, again, like everyone said, the student board members, outstanding reports, and I greatly appreciate that. And they hung around for the majority of the meeting, and Ruben stayed all the way till the end, so we appreciate that. And I want to acknowledge Director Poston for reading all those long-winded things and didn't even want a bottle of water when he was done, so good for him. I got to have a drink right after the open forum speech, so. With that, Director Potts, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm assuming no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.